So this session is going to be a little bit short because it's Saturday night and I've got a few things I need to do. Um, so we'll get started and see how much we can get done in the time I've got available. So I'm going to just review what we did so far. So we do have registration screen, and we have a login screen, and we have a very basic dashboard screen. So we'll just go and see those. So this was the login screen, and this is the register screen, and this is the dashboard screen. So this is a game mechanics prototype, and the idea is you'd first log in, and then there'd be some options on the dashboard, and one of the options would be to buy or acquire some decks. I think what we'll do is have a number of different options for the different types of deck that you can buy, and then we'll have a guaranteed number of a certain type of card within the deck, so that when you buy a deck you'll get a lot of common cards, but then you'll be guaranteed, say, 5 legendary or epic or whatever the categories that we end up with. So in the prototype you should be able to get a deck, and once you've got a deck, then you should be able to shuffle the cards around to make the game deck that you want to play with. So say you require 10 different decks, you might just take the top cards out of those decks and build another deck. And during the process of building, we'll start to figure out what kinds of cards we should allow in the deck that you're going to play with. So once you've built your deck, then you'll be able to play. And I think there'll be 2 modes of play in the prototype. One will be against AI, and one will be for playing against other players. So that's why we have the login, so that 2 players can log in and play each other to test out the mechanics. Okay, so before we get to coding, I just want to show you some of the artwork which we have now. So this is Pirate, that's his card frame. He at the moment needs a little bit more work, and the frame itself, I think it's going to be a very similar frame to this for all of the undead cards. Maybe slightly different colour, maybe some slightly different design, but overall it'll be the same. Okay. Now this is what the new artist is working on. This is Daphne. So she is the second in command. Oh, get some water. And you can see the style of artwork is slightly different. So the original artist that we had did the first pirate, and the new artist, their styles the shading is a little bit different, and this is not quite finished, so there will be some extra changes to go here. Like you can see the sword's not coloured in yet, and there'll be a few more iterations. Like you can see some of the hair that needs the detail and needs some effect still and a bit more detail. But yeah, it's looking good, I think. And so this is like a general type card, as in second in command. and we'll create the same kind of pairings of cards, so each of the main boss cards will have a second in command type card over the next few weeks. So that's the artwork. That's what I have at the moment. I'm expecting more artwork over the next few days. Okay, so I think the next thing then is, in order to make any kind of playable demo, we need to have a way for the game designers and for us to add cards. Oh, hello, Gem445. Welcome to Saturday night at my house. As like I said earlier, this is going to be a bit of a short stream because it's Saturday night and I've actually got some stuff to do after. And it's quite late. I've just managed to get the kids to bed. Normally they'll be fast asleep by now, but I still can't make too much noise in case I wake them up. But at least I haven't been at work all day today, because then I'm super tired by the time I get to do my stream. Okay, so we're going to add admin panel today that will allow game designers and myself to add cards that will then be used to sell and to play the game with. So I'm going to go ahead. So I think a lot of the work right now is going to be in the front end. The dashboard is very simple. In fact, I think I'll just for ease of use, I'm just going to make a button on here which will let us go to the admin panel, and we'll see a bit later what kind of roles and permissions we'll need. Like, it's a prototype, so I don't want to go overboard. So I'll just call it admin. And well, I think that'll do for now. Just give it a class. A button primary should do. Alright, there's our admin button. And now we'll go to roots and we'll add a new section just under dashboard here called admin. I think I'm just going to put all the admin stuff on one page as much as possible, just because it's easy that way. And then in our main, we'll need a record just to add the page for admin. So this is going to be, let's call it admin. Right, so let's make an admin page. Call this admin. It's a component. Oh, the editor is trying to help me there. Oh, I'm typing Crystal. Okay, so the only thing I really need here is a render with some HTML, and here we'll have the I'll just put a div here for now with some text that says admin. Just go reformat this page. Alright, is it compiling? No, it's not. Contents admin. Mr. Komarov. It's compiling. Okay, great. So here we should end up on admin. Okay, so I think I'll just put a simple form on this page that will let us enter the different properties of a card and then submit it, and I'll write it into the database. And I think probably that's as far as I'm going to get tonight, because as I say, I've got a few things to do, non-programming things. So let's do the front end first. So I'm going to borrow some of the form things from login. So we'll put it here. This is going to be admin. Need some states. So we're going to start with some very basic properties first. So just name, which is going to be a string, and at the moment on our cards we've only really got three kind of properties at the moment. We've got the I'm not sure what we're going to call it yet, but it's equivalent to mana in other games. But I think we're going to call it something else, like soul power or something like that. I'm going to call it mana for now. And this is going to be a number. Let's just set that to 0. And also we've got health, which is a number. Set that to 0. And actually I think I'll take these in as well. Maybe I should take these in as strings to start with, because I'm going to actually pass them through to the back end. Never mind, we'll keep them as numbers for now. So name, mana, health, and let's just have a look at the card again. Let's get the demon up. So this top left side is our mana. Our name's going to go in the banner sort of space here. Our health is in this bottom right hand side. Then we've got an attack amount here. So we'll put in the attack amount. Be a number. And maybe a description. Which will help us to understand what capabilities the card has. So I think going forward the capabilities will be properties themselves, and then we'll generate the description using what the properties are. So things like spawning minions. Let's just have a look at the Angel Euphrates card. So she has a base effect. So when summoned, summon 2 3 out of 5 minions with Pierce, and then soul power, inflict 3 damage to opponent's minions, and then +3 heal to your minions. So these kind of effects will be stored independently, but then pulled together to generate the descriptions here. But for now I think what we've got is enough. Okay, so let's start with name. I'll just put name here. On name, input name. So I normally work in IntelliJ a lot, and it's got great refactoring capabilities. But in Atom I haven't quite got the refactoring capabilities yet. Especially since I'm working in Mint, which doesn't even have an editor in any other language hardly. I think I wrote this editor syntax highlighting plugin for Atom for Mint. Enter a name. Okay, so we've got a name. So I think on blur is not required. Just put an input. And then we'll ditch this one. So just start simple here. And then we'll say do save card. This will be save. So now we need a couple of functions to support what we've added here. So on name, it's going to take an event, which is an HTML event. It's going to return a promise, never void, and it's just going to set the name to the DOM get value event target. Next we'll need a create button state. That's going to be a get, and this again is a bool, and for now we just return false. And finally we need a do save card. Again, this takes an event and a promise, never void, and for now we'll do promise, never. Alright, that should make it compile. Oh, a lot of scrolling to do. Login error, yes. Let's create a state for admin error, which will be a string, and we'll call this admin error. Okay, so that compiles. There we go. So now we're going to be able to enter a name, and let's go and do the next couple of bits. So form group, we'll do description next. I'm just going to leave this in a input for now, just because it's easy and I don't really need to write too much of a description right now. And it might go away actually when we start generating the description from various components. Okay, typing in the wrong place. Input name, name, enter name, input name, input description. You see, this is the problem with working late at night. You're really tired. And like I said many times, it's easy to make mistakes when you're really tired, and it's hard as well to focus because you feel very exhausted from the day. And as well, some words start to look weird. It's like, is that how you spell description? Okay, so now we need on description, and this should be on name. Okay, good. This is why I like having a compiler, because then I can see what's going wrong. On description takes an event, an HTML event. This is all the same stuff here, kind of boilerplate stuff. Never void. Then we do a next description is DOM get value event. Yeah, okay, so I'm trying hard not to read out what I'm typing because obviously everyone can see what I'm typing, so I'm going to try and do a better job of explaining what's going on as well. But I think it's pretty obvious right now what's going on. We've added a few input fields here: name, description, and okay, so mana, health, and attack. I was wondering, I think for now I'm going to go back with string because it's very easy. And I don't have to convert anything, I can convert it once I pass it through the JSON on the other side. I'll probably change my mind tomorrow and put it back to a number, but we'll see. Okay, name, description. So we're going to have mana, attack, and what's the other one? Health. So input mana. Maybe I should put mana amount on mana input mana enter an amount of mana. So probably it's sufficient just to put mana there. Okay, let's do health, and on health here we'll put some health. Enter an amount of health. Obviously these max lengths are a bit redundant here because they're going to be short amounts of numbers. Attack. Okay, on attack. Input attack. Enter an amount of attack. Okay, so now we need just to copy this down. 1, 2, 3 on mana, on health, on attack. So I think on this admin screen as well, when you add something, it's just going to show you everything that's added all the time, because initially we're not going to have too many different cards. I mean, we could paginate if there's so many, but I think there'll only be 100 or so, which should render okay. Okay, so on health, on mana, on attack, so mana, health, attack. Still compiling, that's good. So now we've got the name, description, mana, health, attack. And let's do the button state. So I think we'll just check for empty to start with. So we'll just say string is empty, name, and we'll just OR these all together. Or name, description. So that means I'm basically making these all mandatory right now. Mana, health, and mana, health, attack. Okay. Interesting. The auto format has left this all in one big line, but then in other cases it kind of respects the margin limit here. So now in theory, yes, it's grayed out. So now we shouldn't be able to enter, save anything until we've entered everything. That's good. Yeah, I think that's alright. Let's do safeguard now. So for safeguard to work, we're going to need some back-end work. So I'll put in the API call on the front end first, and then we'll see it failing. So on the login area, it's pretty much the same as this. Yep. Except, right, we need a record. So this is going to be name, description, mana, name, description, mana, health, and attack. Just borrow those. Let's make a record up here. I'm going to call this save card request. The name's not really that important. It's really more about the structure. String, 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 string. Okay. Now we could do with having an error response. So this is admin error. Could not save card. Something went wrong. This is card data. I'm going to do a post to API card. Error response, that's what we need next. Some of these things I'll probably be able to refactor and turn them into common methods, common functions. Yeah, so this one really, the only thing that's different here is the admin error. Apart from that, it looks pretty common to me, but we'll come back and do that a bit later. On error response, yeah, we're going to write into the admin error, and if we succeed, then we don't want to navigate to the dashboard. We actually want to update the list of existing cards. So we'll probably just make another call and return all of the data that we need, and then display it on the admin board. So right now I think we will do. I think I'll do this for now. Yes, we're compiling. So let's look in admin tools. the network, and dsave card should post and we should get a 404. Let's put some junk in here and save. Headers, yeah, post API card, post. Here's the data, attack description, health miner name. So that's good. So I actually went to the back end and now we need to do some back end work. So we've got Camel, we've got current user, register, login, log out. So now we're going to add, I think I'm going to do it up here just because it's easier to see. So there'll be a post to API card with a context. I think we will go and check if they're logged on because that seems like a good thing to do. And next we're going to go and save the data that's coming in. So context UI create card. Let's call this UI card. Okay. So let's create UI card. Mac domain UI. Create card.cr, and it's basically going to be like this. Oops. We have a name, description, mana, health, attack. Okay. Okay, so now the thing to do is go and write into the database everything we need. So we'll probably have like an admin repo. We'll insert. We'll have a card.new and we'll pass in probably everything from UI card. But I think I'll pass them in individually right now. Name, description, mana, health, attack. This is our query. Now we'll say if the query is successful, then we're going to return, I think here we'll return the card. But then I think we'll go and fetch everything that we need to render on the screen, and then we'll render it all at once in the same place. So let's check what we need. Yeah, so I'm going to create another repo in the database for admin to store the cards. Oh, I think it's water time. Also, still feeling very tired, so I think I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon, probably in the next 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. We'll see how I'm feeling. Okay, so one of the interesting things about working with Crystal is it feels a lot like Ruby, but it's typed. So I'm returning from the database either a DB success with a generic type in it. Let's find that. So in database and repos, I've got two structs here. I've got the success struct, which has a property of value and just takes the generic type, and then I've got failure, which takes the string and it holds the message normally. And then when I make a query in RethinkDB, I wrap the response in a success or a failure, and then I'm using another closure around things like, so on success is really just a wrapper. If we look at endpoint helpers, it's really just a wrapper which returns an error if there's a failure, or you can pass in a custom error, or you get the success back, and it yields the success, the value that's stored inside success. So that's how this works. And because Crystal also has, like, similar to Ruby, the block capability, it allows you to wrap a block around things. So this on success, for example, means you can put the code that you want inside, and on failure this will automatically raise an error. So that's handy. But at the moment you have to be careful not to get too nested, because when you have too many you sort of end up with a chain. In other languages like Scala or functional programming languages, this can be handled differently, because they have constructs available to work with these things. And in Crystal we don't really have that. I think there maybe are some functional languages which Crystal has taken inspiration from, because I have seen a few user libraries on in the shards which have a few functional things. Haven't really had a chance yet to explore them, but I might have a look at those, because I think I'm going to end up with a bit of nested closures here in a minute, which is fine to start with, with Refactor. And like I've been saying, this is a prototype, so I don't want to spend too much time making the code super beautiful, because at the end of the day it's going to be a throwaway piece of work. Okay, so we do the insert, and then on success I think we're going to return just a generic page type thing. So I'm going to create a UI page, and I'm going to always return the current user, and the user is always going to have the email, the name, if I can type, and also a ID. And then the second part of the page I'm going to put whatever I want in here. So in this case I'm just going to put a string saying hello. Right, so I'm going to go and create UI page, which is going to be part of the UI model here. New file, call this page. So this is going to be a class called UI page, and it's going to just take a generic. Let's get some JSON. It's all getting tired because I can't type at all now. UI, current user, and the page is going to be the T here. Right, def initialize. This thing always gives me a double def here. Current user, which is a UI current user, and of course the page, which is a T. Mr. T. Get rid of that def, get rid of this. I really like this about Crystal. The at on the initializer saves you typing extra code. So my generic UI page here, it's all set up now. So now I'm going to put whatever I like in page, which is pretty handy because now I can return the same structure back from every single API call once you're logged in. And I'm always going to return the current user, so the front end always knows in each response which current user we have. I think we need UI current user. Nope, we've got it already. Brilliant. Okay, so now we need to do some admin repo work. So for that, we're going to have to go to CreateDB and yes, go to the repo, go to database, and create an extra table here. This is going to be the table that holds cards. This is just creating the cards here. That's all I need. And now I need a repo. I like to build individual repos to hold different bits of information. I'm going to call this card repo.cr. It's going to be very, very similar to user repo at the moment, and then we'll refactor it as required. So we need a connection, we need to insert, and we don't need any of this other stuff right now. Find by email, nope. So find by ID is helpful. So we'll probably have a few small functions that return the ID. So the first thing is, I think we can check. I should use private more in these because it would help when you look at the code. It's easier to see what should be exposed. So now we're going to return the card here. Okay, so we'll have a result, which is a table. We'll go to the cards table, we'll get the ID, and then run that connection. And we'll yield the result raw. Note, so this is a ternary expression, which I also like, and I miss actually in some other languages. So I work a lot in Scala, and we don't have any ternary expression. The ID, right. And in the case of success, we're just going to return the card from JSON. We need to pass the JSON in here. Result raw to JSON. So I was watching another guy's stream the other day, and he'd been streaming for like 8 hours, and he was still like full of energy, you know, and his voice was still there. It must be something that you have to build up over time, because like my throat is already hurting. I've already been talking for like half an hour or something, or 40 minutes, and yes, if I was going to do 8 hours, I think I'd be pretty tired. Okay, let's do the next part. Yeah, so I think the more I start streaming, the more I'll get used to it, and then I'll be able to start talking for longer and making sense for longer, because right now, as soon as I get tired, everything starts going wrong. Right, so find by ID, yes, now we don't need to do this because we already have that thing up there I just wrote. On existing card, we just give it the ID and return the card. Return the card. Let's do that. Okay, so on no existing email. So for insert, really, we just need to create a new card and pass it in here. So we're going to have a name, which is a string, a description, which is a string, the mana, which right now is a string, the health, which is a string, and the attack, which is a string. I think we don't need to care about this. An existing card, our table, just ditch this and this. Cards. Let's create a domain object called card. Name, description, mana, health, attack. And then we'll just convert that and find by ID, generate keys, first to S. Okay, that looks good. So I need to write some tests for this to make sure it's working, and then after that I'm going to hook it up. So let's go do tests first. For this to work, I need to create the database. So I've got a gdb command which will regenerate the database. There we go, and gdb test which will regenerate the test database. And the next thing is Drum, yes, I'm going through the repos now, so you'll definitely be able to see that. And Rethink DB, I like NoSQL database. I just find it easier to change stuff and play around with things, especially when prototyping. I don't know what we'll have in the final application, final product, because actually it's going to be running on top of a blockchain, so all the assets are actually going to be stored in the blockchain. I haven't figured out yet exactly how much of the data will go there, so probably we'll need another store somewhere, but it might not be a traditional database. I guess it'll probably be some distributed kind of database. Alright, let's write some tests. Easy repo spec. It's going to be very similar to this. I'm going to call this card repo spec. Let's see. Card repo. Load the test, recreate database, create a card repo. We want to do insert we don't care about that, but we do want find by ID, which we'll come back to in a minute. Comment that out. Right, insert a new card, and we'll just create a card here. Give it a name. Description. Mana. Health. Tag. Card repo insert. And we'll pass the card. We should get a card back, and from this card I'll just start with checking the name. And then probably you can just do straight equality check between card and card. Right, let's comment this one out. Too much. Right. Let's see how this goes. G test. Yes. Card repo. Include DB. Number line 2. User repo. DB connection. Card repo. Class card repo. Include DB. Okay, what's it complaining about? Define constant DB. Requiring card repo spec. Unit spec helper. Go back domain DB. That should bring that in. Unit spec helper. Card repo spec. Unit spec helper. Card repo. Load the test. Load the database. Recreate database. Card repo. Should be a DB. Do end to end. End. That looks right to me. Let's build this one. Yeah, same issue. Okay, obviously done something stupid here. User repo spec. Card repo spec. Card repo. User repo. What did I do wrong? DB failure, DB. Define constant DB. Card repo CR. Include DB. Yeah, module DB is right here. It's in database CR. It's included here. Yes, I did some thing strange. Card repo. Oh, did I call? Yes, sorry, I called. No, that should be fine. userrepo.new. Just come out a sec. This is weird. Comment this out. Yeah, admin repo. Admin repo. Okay. It would help if I called this card repo. And also it would help if I created a card. And if I instantiate it here as well. Just to close these off. And card's a DB thing. It's like user. But it's got more stuff on it. Mana, health, attack, name, description, mana, health, big S, health, and attack. Name, description. So this is basically the user object, that's the domain object for the user that's being stored in the database, in the collection. Mana. I'll probably come back and fix these mana, health and attack once I figure out what the best approach is. Attack. Okay, looking good. So this is a card. And okay, that closes the loop. Health. Card repo. Okay, so card repo. Let's bring this card repo back to life. Right, still having an issue with this DB, but I think. Right, card repo. I can't really understand why I'm having a problem with including the DB here. Must have done something stupid. Oh, hold on a sec. I should definitely require that. Okay, that makes sense. Why did I not require it here? Surely this needs it. Okay, so running of arguments for request GOMEC CR50. Okay, GOMEC CR50. Insert. Ah yes, I passed the whole card in here. I decided not to do that at the end. ID AS. Another issue here. Should be more like that. Oh no, not quite. Takes an ID. Okay, that compiles. Does the test pass? I think I commented the test out actually. Yeah, let's go check. I did. Let's try again. One moment for card repo spec. Card repo spec. Yeah, I decided to pass in the bits, name, description, mana, health, and attack. Let's run the test again. Okay, awesome. GOMIC test card does not exist. Let's run GDB test again. Let's try this again. GOMIC test card does not exist. So database. Oh, cards. Card repo, cards. My test is already adding value. Awesome, it passed. What Mac am I using? I've got an iMac Pro. So it's one of the new iMacs, the new Pro one that came out last year. It's super powerful. It's got, I think I've got quite a lot of memory. Let's see if I can check about this Mac. Yeah, so it's the iMac Pro 2017. I need to upgrade to Mojave. Got 64 gig. I've got a Radeon Pro graphics card in there. And I've got the Xeon W, the 3 gigahertz. Yeah, it's been awesome so far, this Mac. It's been really reliable, and it's surprising because it's just like a flimsy kind of screen that's actually hanging on my mechanical arms. I've got two mechanical arms that come out, and on one of them I've got the iMac mounted, and the other one I've got an LG 5K ultrafine 27-inch display, or might be 32. No, I think 27. So I've got two of those, and I was watching some Mac YouTube videos where people were mounting their new iMac Pros on these hydraulic arms like mine, but they were snapping the mount connectors. I think the problem was the screws that you have to screw into the mount were very brittle, so they were snapping off. And quite a few people, they'd blogged and vlogged about taking it back to Apple Store, and the Apple Store had said, "Oh, sorry, we can't fix it," because they either it was so new that they didn't have all the parts to fix it, or it was some kind of third party that made the fixture for it. But anyway, it seemed like pretty bad, so I think I'm never gonna take the Mac off its mount. Snazzy Labs. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, now it's on the mount. I think I'm I'm not going to take it off the mount, and hopefully it'll be fine. It's just if I need to move it anywhere, that might be a problem. Right. So in theory, we can now insert. Oh yeah, I watched my video back from the other night, and I realised that I'd made a typo here. Should not insert a I user. It should just be a user here. Okay, that should be enough to hook up the button. So when I post now, instead of getting, so I'm getting a UI page back. So I'm going to need to in Mint deal with the page that's coming back. I think I'm going to do that. Could it be a common thing? It's possible I could put it in a common sort of space. I think I'll just do it in place right now and then move it when I need to. So back in source. Yeah, about half an hour ago I said I'm only going to go on for 10 minutes longer. But I'm really close to making the post work. So save card, I do the post, and right now it should return something back. So instead of doing this, I should really take the response and decode it and do stuff with it. So I'm going to put this into a success response, and that's going to take the response, and I think that's it really. So I've got error response here. I'll just put it above success response, takes the response. HTTP, feeling really tired now. And also, I can't see my chat window anymore. Where's it gone? There it is. Yeah, you'd think for such an expensive Mac that the mount wouldn't be an issue. I mean, it's got to hold up thousands of pounds worth of Mac, so it's unbelievable that they would have such a flimsy kind of thing that could snap off at any moment. I mean, I hope mine doesn't snap off. It's not raised too high off the desk, so I guess it'll just make an expensive thud if it falls off. Well, I suppose it might fall off and tip forward, but then it'll just fall into my mic, which I've got like a Blue Yeti mic mounted, which is right in front of me, so I think that'll catch it, so I might be lucky if it falls off. Hope it never falls off though. Success response, right, let's create a sequence. I'm on the home stretch now. Let's parse the response body. Right, let's focus. Let's get this done in 35 seconds. Right, this will create a JSON parsing error. Okay, and now we need a card, and we'll decode the JSON as a card. Don't know if I've got a card yet, can't remember. And then we'll set actually right now all we're getting back is a hello string, which isn't exactly what I need. It's 10 past 10. Yes, I think I'm gonna have to finish up in a minute. Okay, so I think I'll just set. No, I think I'm going to finish here because I know the next bit is going to take a little bit of time to do. I need to, instead of returning hello here, what I want to do, I think what I want to do here is return an array of all the cards that have been added. So this would become an array of cards that have been added, so that when back in here in dashboard, no, in admin, when we decode this, we'll decode an array of card, and then that array of card, well, maybe I can just put a placeholder here so I remember. So what I'm going to do now is to do, so decode array of card and load the data into a cards state, and then on the front end render the cards in a table. I think that's what we'll do. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight. Need to finish early so I can go and do my other stuff. It's quite late already. So tomorrow I hope to continue, and I'll finish this part of the success response. So the idea is basically that when you create a card here in admin and you save it, the page will reload and there'll be a table underneath containing a list of all the cards that you've added. And once I've got that far, then I'm going to come back and look at mana, health and attack, and probably change those to be like a number spinner or something. So you just spin the number up or down and then pass a number through into the back end. We can go and look at the control panel of WeThinkDB. So we can see here that in tables we've now got cards, and when we go to Data Explorer we can now say db goa mech dev table cards. So now we can see some cards. I think the test database should have some because we just ran the tests. No, it doesn't have any yet. But basically we'll see here in this database the same way that we see users. Or we don't see users. What happened to my table? GDB. Oh yeah, I think I had to restart the database to create the new table. So I'll just quickly create well, not here, sorry. Let's go to register. Let's quickly register something here. me@me.com. Me. Let's register that. Okay, now if we go and look at users, yeah, we can see the user here. So we'll get the same thing for cards. When we add a card, it will go and add the card in here. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock, same time, I'll finish the rest of this admin board, and then I need to go back and talk to the game designers a bit about what kind of properties we're going to have on the cards. If you remember the demon card here, we've got the mana, we've got the attack, we've got the health, but in the description space, we need to figure out what else is going to go in. And for example, in Angel Euphrates, we've got this bass effect and the soul power, and there'll be a number of other properties that we have to add to make the game mechanics work. So really, I need to figure that stuff out before I can go too far with the properties that we need. Hopefully the next couple of days I'll have that figured out, and then I'll move on to the purchase card kind of functionality. So I think the next couple of days I should be on track for that kind of stuff. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.